I've been in an LDR for a few months now, and at the beginning of October, I flew to the Philippines to meet Jewel and her family. Buckle up, this trip had everything: love, earthquakes, turtles, and deodorant-related trauma. So I flew from Cape Town to Joburg on Friday the 3rd of October, stayed at my aunt's place, and then on Saturday, she and my cousin dropped me at the airport for my flights to Singapore and then to Davao. At the airport, my deodorant got confiscated out of my carry-on luggage for being over the limit. I did still have another one in my checked luggage, but I wouldn't be seeing that again for a very long time. Perfect. Nothing like starting an international flight smelling like a long-haul passenger with no backup plan. Then, my flight was delayed by 2 hours because of technical issues, which is always comforting. Eventually we took off, survived the 10-hour flight, and I landed in Singapore for a 13-hour layover. I saw the Jewel, walked about 500 laps between terminals trying to find my gate. You know, normal transit things. At 2:30 a.m. on Sunday the 6th, I flew to Davao, slept the whole way, and landed at 6:30 a.m. where Jewel and her family were waiting outside. But remember, no deodorant and no clean clothes, so the first thing I did after collecting my luggage was sprint to the bathroom and try to make myself look and smell like a human again. Meeting Jewel for the first time was incredible. Way better than our video calls. By far. The four of us started the 6-hour drive to Coronadal, stopped for lunch, and I got to meet Jewel's sister Joy at the fire department. Later that evening, I checked into my Airbnb. Jet lag hit me hard, and sleeping was a challenge because the local wildlife had a nightly concert. Cats fighting, dogs barking, chickens crowing from 4 a.m. But thank God for aircon, because the Philippines is humid. I spent the first 2 days mostly with Jewel at the Airbnb. Then on Wednesday, I rode a tuk-tuk to see my good friend Michael and his wife Olive, who's Jewel's sister. We had breakfast that morning, then took a shuttle to Lake Sebu. Despite the rain, we had an amazing lunch overlooking the lake, enjoyed live music, did a short hike to 2 beautiful waterfalls, and picked up some cool souvenirs. The next day, I thought we were going to a small lunch to meet Jewel's extended family, but surprise, it turned into a joint birthday celebration for myself and her dad. The family's pastor prayed blessings over us, we worshipped together, and the food was incredible. Afterwards, we visited Jewel's brother at his workplace, then her dad's farm where we drank fresh coconut juice and took photos, and then visited the land where her family plans to build houses. Friday the 10th of October, I was busy making oats for breakfast when my phone warned me of light shaking from a magnitude 5.6 earthquake. Seconds later, the whole building started wobbling, even the floor. As a South African, this is new territory, so I immediately abandoned my oats and ran outside. When the locals look worried, you worry. After around a minute, the shaking stopped, and then I went back inside and finished making my oats. Jewel and I caught up with her parents and took a bus to Davao. On the way, we learned that the earthquake had happened off the coast, now with tsunami warnings, so we booked a hotel inland. A few hours later, warnings eased, we checked in, and then we felt the building wobble again. So we evacuated from the 4th floor, praying the building wouldn't collapse. Staff later cleared the place, but we decided nope and found another hotel with an easier escape route. That night, Jewel and I had dinner together and tried to pretend the ground wasn't trying to break up with us. The next morning, we flew to Bohol. After checking into our villa, we had dinner together, and later Jewel and I took a tuk-tuk to Alorna Beach, where we toasted amarula under the stars. Yes, I brought it all the way from South Africa. October the 12th was packed. We visited the Chocolate Hills, did an ATV tour, visited a butterfly park, held a snake, saw tarsiers, took photos in a man-made forest, and had lunch on a river cruise with traditional dancing and singing. The next morning we visited an animal farm. Rabbits, tortoises, guinea pigs, chickens, cats, basically a live-action Pokemon safari. Jewel rode a horse and we both got pulled by a carabao, as one does. We had lunch overlooking a dam and then visited Hinagdanan cave where we swam inside the cave. Honestly, one of the coolest experiences of my life. After buying souvenirs, we watched the sunset at Oceanica Resort, kayaked and took beach photos. October 14th, one of the best days of my life. We caught a shuttle to a small harbour and hopped on a pump boat to Balikasak Island. First stop, dolphin watching, a whole school of them. Some even jumped right in front of the boat. Then came my first ever snorkelling experience. Crystal clear water, turtles, colourful fish. Some swam right in front of our faces. It felt like becoming part of the ocean, easily a highlight for Jewel and myself. After having lunch on the island, we went back to the villa to get some rest, and then that evening, the moment. Jewel and I headed to the beautiful Amorita Resort for a romantic dinner. The food was amazing, the Chardonnay was perfect, the atmosphere was unreal, and that night marked the start of our engagement. On the 15th, we flew back to Davao. Jewel's parents went home to Takurong, and Jewel and I spent the next 2 days together before I flew home on the 18th. One more highlight, October the 16th. We went to Davao Mall, had dinner, hit the arcade, did a 4D experience, Jewel beat me at archery, and then watched Good Fortune at the cinema. Philippines, thank you for the memories, the adventure, the love, and even the earthquakes, I guess. Until next time, sana all.